Whenever a conflict breaks out in the Middle East and global oil prices spike, you will inevitably hear someone ask this question. We produce our own oil in Malaysia, so why are we complaining about expensive petrol? The answer is simple. We don't actually pump our own oil straight into our cars, we sell them. And this matters to your wallet more than ever. Under the new Budi 95 targeted subsidy, the government subsidizes your first 300 litres of raw 95 at RM1.99 per litre. But the moment you exceed that quota, you're paying the floating market price. And that unsubsidized price is entirely dictated by what happens outside of our borders. Let's look at how global oil shock will actually affect us Malaysia. The war in Iran has not only affected oil productions in the Middle East, but the sea route for oil transportations as well. This means less oil available for the world, and as a result, crude oil prices shot up to above $100 per barrel. Because Malaysia is also an oil-producing country, people assume we are insulated. Unfortunately, this is not true at all. According to trade data, while Malaysia exports billions in crude oil, we also import billions in refined petroleum and heavier crude oil. To understand why, you have to look at the chemistry of what we pull out of the ground. Not all oil is created equal. Malaysia are known to produce a specific grade of crude called tapis, and in the energy world, tapis is famous. It's incredibly light and sweet, which is the industry term to mean it flows easily and has very low sulfur. Because it requires very little processing to turn into high-end fuels, tapis commands a premium price on the global market. So think of it this way. Imagine you own a farm that breeds the world's finest A5 Wagyu beef. Would you grind up that beef to make a RM5 street burger? No. You export the Wagyu beef to fine dining restaurants overseas for maximum profit. Then you buy cheaper, imported minced meat to make your street burger. This is exactly what Malaysia does with oil. We export our premium tapis crude, which is mainly used for jet fuel, for top dollars. Then we import cheaper, heavy and sour crude from the Middle East, or we buy pre-refined petrol from hubs like Singapore to top up what Petronas refines domestically to supply our local petrol stations. The truth is, the world runs on blends. Refineries are like giant chemical kitchens. They are designed to take a specific recipe of heavy and light crude oil, blend them together, and cook them to get the perfect ratio of diesel, jet fuel, and petrol. It makes total economic sense for Malaysia to play this global arbitrage game, selling high and buying lower. But the catch is, it permanently ties our domestic fuel supply to the global market. When the price of cheap imported meat goes up, our street burgers gets more expensive to make. So, here's the takeaway. Next time a geopolitical tensions causes oil prices to spike, don't ever think that we have Petronas and assume we are safe, because we buy the fuel for our daily commutes at global market prices. Global oil shock means the government spends hundreds of millions to billions more to protect your 300-litre Budi 95 quota. And if you're a heavy driver or a business, you pay the higher floating price. For everyone else, the government is just draining national funds to keep your pump price frozen. Being an oil-producing nation does not mean you escape the rules of global market. It just means you have something much more valuable to sell to cover the high prices that we need to pay for refined petrol.